Hey guys, this is Tim with BleepinJeep.com. Today we will be doing some welding and a review of a Hobart Handler 140 115 volt MIG welder. In my last video, I had just purchased it and started doing a video and welding with it right off the bat, and I was having some trouble with it. Even though I went through the setup of the machine 2 times and thought I had verified everything, I actually made a mistake, and I wasn't able to find that mistake until after I'd already put out the video. So initially I was really disappointed with the performance of the Hobart Handler 140, but after discovering my error in setting up the machine, I was actually able to make some really nice speeds with it, and I'm not disappointed with the machine at all, especially for the $500 price tag and being made in the USA. So today we're going to do some welding with it and a short review. 1/4 inch is the Hobart Handler 140's maximum rated welding potential for material thickness, and they also suggest with using solid core wire in the particular gas, gold gas, that I'm using to do this in multiple passes. So I wanted to see if we could do it in one. This was the first speed I made, doing just kind of a pause motion like this, and as you can see, it looks a little cold. It's not real big. When I did that one though, it then heated the metal, so the next speed burned in better, which is this one here. And for that I actually made, I don't remember if it was overhand circles like that or maybe it was underhand, I don't know. But anyways, that is not a bad looking bead for a 115 volt welder, single pass on 1/4 inch. So now that this metal is all cold, let's give it a shot again right here and see how it comes out. Okay, we're using 030 wire. The machine is set to the weld chart. We're on 5, its maximum output, and 50 on the wired speed. And we will be doing some overhand circles like that on this pass, and we'll see how it comes out. Alright, here we go. Alright, so that's a bead, single pass on 1/4 inch metal with Hobart Handler 140. And now let's add some multiple passes there like we are actually supposed to do on metal this thickness and see how it comes out. Alright, so there's nothing to hide here. If you're going to be welding 1/4 inch with the 115 volt welder, I would recommend doing several passes. That's 3 passes here. But once the metal is hot, you can get pretty good results in a single pass. And yeah, if I was at work using a big $8,000 or $10,000 welder, sure, we can make a real nice bead real quick in one pass on 1/4 inch. But I mean, for a 115 volt welder, I don't know what more you could ask for. That's really good on metal of this thickness. Alright, one more little test here on the 1/4 inch. I'll be welding this 1/4 inch flat bar to the 1/4 inch plate, and this half is beveled, this half is not. And we'll just run a straight stringer here, nice and slow, non-oscillating, just to see what kind of a bead we can leave on this metal. And again, this is really thick metal for a 115 volt welder, and for doing Jeep stuff or vehicle related stuff, it's very unlikely that you're going to be welding anything more than 1/4 inch, if 1/4 inch for that matter. Alright, so this one here is pulling the puddle like that. inside the bevel. This bead here is pushing the puddle like that, with just really minimal pauses, basically just a smooth motion with very short pauses. And we're going to do the same thing here with, trying it where it's not beveled. And you're not even supposed to be welding single pass according to the weld chart on 1/4 inch with this welder. But if you bevel your material like that, yeah, it's not a super burned in, super hot bead, but it's definitely there. It's not disappointing, in my opinion, for a 115 volt welder. Okay, now over here on the unbeveled side, I will be doing some underhand circles pushing the bead, and we'll see how that comes out and if it leaves a better bead on 1/4 inch than just a straight stringer. Okay, this is the last bead I just made, doing a series of underhand circles, or almost like U-shapes underhand. And this is also the non-bevel side of my flat bar. The bevel stops right there. And by the time I got down here, the metal is heated. But regardless, I'm impressed for a 115 volt welder leaving beads like that on 1/4 inch material. That is absolutely awesome. So I'm really pleased with that. All right, now we're getting more into the realm of what this welder is intended for. This is some 1/8 inch material here, and realistically this is probably the most common material thickness that you're likely to be working with the exception of maybe 3/16 plate or tube for steel bumpers, rock sliders, that kind of thing. But for most practical applications, 1/8 inch wall is really stout stuff, at least in automotive. Alright, well, let's fire this thing up, and again I'm going to change everything to the weld chart and keep it all on factory settings and see what we can do. Okay, so this is the machine set to the factory weld chart on 1/8 inch material, and with some time and a little bit more practice, I'm sure I can make better beads. I tried turning the machine down right here and it was just a little cold, and on this side I started to adjust the wire speed and turned it up here. All in all, it's fine. It's not perfectly consistent because it's me messing with the machine, but man, that machine is very capable. I'm not disappointed with it at all. Now we're going to step it down even further and weld some 14 gauge, some real thin stuff. And this is representational of most exhaust pipes and that kind of stuff. And we are going to weld this with a little bit of a gap too, because I don't know about you guys, but it seems to me like anytime I'm welding exhaust, I always have a gap to fill. So we'll see what the machine can do. So that's just running downhand in a straight motion, smooth as I can. And it definitely looks good on the back side. I'll show you here. So again, this is 14 gauge, and the machine is set to the weld chart. And this is a representational thickness of your exhaust pipe or sheet metal, that kind of stuff. Let me flip it around here. And that's the back side. You can see it's penetrated all the way through, even running downhand, which is good. Nice and solid. Alright, well, that's probably the thinnest metal that I would ever find myself welding. And the machine did really good on 1/4 inch. all the way down to 14 gauge and thinner, if I had any. So I'm happy with it. It's doing really good. Here's another bead I made with that welder off camera. This is also 14 gauge tube, and I'm just running a straight stringer on it with small oscillations. And this one here I already showed you, but that was 1/8 inch with underhand circles, I believe. So anyways, once I get a little more used to it, this machine will be a good addition to the tool arsenal for sure, especially for its size and portability. So the mistake I made when I first set up the welder is I read the manual. No, that's not the mistake. I read the manual, and it comes ready to weld out of the box using flux core wire, which it also comes with. For the type of welding I like to do and will be doing the most of, I won't have a need or use for flux core. So I bought some gas and some solid wire. And to weld solid wire, you need to have the polarity on electrode positive. And since the machine comes set for flux core, it's also set on electronegative. So it should be, at least. So without paying any attention to the polarity and where it actually was, knowing that it came set for flux core, I swapped the polarity around to what I thought was electropositive, and I was pretty positive of that. Turns out it actually came from the factory set wrong for flux core, but set right for solid core wire, electropositive, and I swapped it around to electronegative. And that's when I started welding. And it wasn't clear as day, actually. It was welding kind of cold, but I could turn it up and make some decent looking beads, but they weren't really penetrating. I should have known better, but this being my first time using a 115 volt welder, I didn't really know what to expect. So after doing that bumper job on my Jeep in the last video and uploading the video for you guys, I went back through again and double checked everything for a third time, and finally realized that that's what the problem is. So after correcting that and actually welding on electropositive with gas for solid core wire, I'm actually pretty happy with this thing. It's doing good. You know, as long as you have reasonable expectations and know its limitations, it's a really good unit for $500. I paid $500 for it out the door. It's made in the USA, and I don't think you can go wrong for the price. I'm really happy with it. Alright guys, well that's it from me for today. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Check out BleepinJeep.com, and thank you for watching.